Yo, what's up, guys? Finally got my desk, got my bookshelf in here. It's looking much cleaner. This setup is much easier to do videos with. Looks a hell of a lot better. On this wall over here, I'm going to get a couple of those Q maps. The Deep State Mapping project made by Dylan and that Great Awakening map made by Champ. So those will be badass to hang on the wall here. I'll probably do a video just going over them because they're such great graphics when I get them in. So hope you guys like it. This is how I'm going to do videos like this from now on with my screen captures and whatnot. And in this particular one, we're going to go over Q over the last couple days. So lots of stuff coming out. And let's go ahead and get into it. But before we do, I just want to point you towards Mike Shinoda's Instagram here. Now, Mike Shinoda, who was one of the main members in Lincoln Park, on his Instagram account 2 days ago, he released a video to his 1.3 million followers there. As you can see, it already has nearly 200,000 views. And in this video, he writes his logo on a board right above the words that say, "The plan to save the world," and a big old fat QAnon. And now you can see the comment section over here as well. Q, hashtag Great Awakening, hashtag where we go one, we go all. It's being lit up with Q in that comment section. So the question is here. Was this an accident by Mr. Shinoda? Did he not know what he was writing above? You know, was it unintentional? Or was it very intentional? Was Mike Shinoda trying to subtly get this message out to his audience and out to the masses? And bringing some extra dots into this picture, you know, Mike Shinoda's bandmate was Chester Bennington. Chester Bennington, who passed away last year, many people believe very mysteriously. And many people are also theorizing that Chester Bennington could very well have been the son of a certain cabal member. You know, lots of ideas floating out there around it. But nevertheless, very mysterious death. And if Mike Shinoda knows some things or is trying to get the truth out about some things, what a way to do it right here. You know, so again, just as Q said, within a few months, the message on these boards that Q is posting on 8chan is going to be spread across all platforms, and we are seeing that. Nearly every week, if not every day, some famous person with a huge following is somehow indirectly pointing people towards Q. It's just exponentially increasing. Great to see. Anyway, let's get into Q's post now over the last couple days. We're going to start here on July 29th. So post 1750. This one is basically some cheerleading from Q, but it's always great when the Q team jumps on the board and keeps us all staying the course. It says, they don't want you asking questions. They don't want you thinking for yourself. They don't want you united. They want you to live in fear, be asleep, be blind, and the message must bypass the MSM. Mainstream media is so controlled and co-opted. Many of the, quote, alternative media are as well controlled opposition. So the reason it has to come from an anonymous enigma on anonymous online posting boards is because it's raw, unedited, unfiltered. The intel comes directly to us, and then we disperse it. It's the only way. Q says, people united hold the power. All of us. Next post, 1751, is a piggyback off this one. Q says, every CIA/Mossad tactic of infiltration and internal disruption is being deployed on this board. If you've ever been on the 8chan boards, that's plainly obvious. All the counterintelligence, misinformation, disinformation tactics you could ever think of are all there for you to see. And if you're familiar with them, it's plain as day. And let's make a note on that CIA/Mossad really quick. So a lot of people in this, quote, truth community who are public figures in it, they are outing the CIA. CIA is very well known as being corrupt as heck, and it's great that people are exposing it, but not as many people in this truther realm are exposing Israeli intelligence, the Mossad. And there is a lot of deep state connection there to expose. So whether these public figures in the truth movement are unaware of the Mossad connection behind everything, I understand that. Maybe they're scared to report it. okay, I sort of understand that, but it's no time to not have courage in this fight. Or they're just consciously avoiding the issue and not wanting to talk about it, and that's not a good thing. Everything needs to be exposed. So, quick note on that right there. CIA and Mossad, very linked. Q says the world is here. Everybody is on the boards. Bad guys, good guys, common folk like you and me, everybody. This movement is bigger than anyone can possibly imagine. Truly. So there's a few posts to give us some big picture perspective. Q's always, every 10 to 20 posts doing that just to keep everybody on track, which is good. Then we get into the interesting stuff, the stuff that has to do with an assassination attempt on our president and who was involved in that. So the first couple photographs we get here, and then we get a link to a website of Avenatti.com. And these photographs are of the offices of Michael Avenatti. If I'm getting his name right, I don't really care. But Michael Avenatti, he is a lawyer in Southern California. You'll get a little bit more background about how he's involved in all of this in a minute. Q says, buckle up. And the next post we get about Michael Avenatti is a photograph of a guy right here. Q says, offices of MA work on a Sunday. Who's supplying the feed? Who is financing? And this guy, as you can see here, very stocky dude in the middle of the street. He's got a cell phone there. And then it looks like keys or something in that hand. And you can't really tell who he is. And first thought, he's a pretty jacked dude and older gentleman. I thought Lou Ferrigno. He looked a lot like Lou Ferrigno to me, the bodybuilder. But yeah, we don't really know who he is. So we get those posts to give us some foundation behind all of it. And then up here, post 1757, Q links a screenshot of that missile that was shot off over Whidbey Island last month, early June. Q says, do you believe in coincidences? And then links a tweet from Michael Avenatti himself. And this is the tweet. It says, this week promises to be very interesting. And it has a jet in the crosshairs right here. Now look at the date, June 10th, 2018. Let's go back. Check out this screenshot. You see the date right there in real tiny numbers? You probably can't, but it was June 10th, 2018. So what was promising to be very interesting there, Mr. Michael? What are you involved in? As Q says right here, or Q confirms from an anon, it says, who is the real Michael Avenatti? He claims to just be a lawyer from Southern California, but I'm getting the feeling that his connections are far deeper in that cabal than we realize. And anon also noticed John Brennan's tweet, also from June 10th. Q confirms it, says this is not a game. As you can see, John Brennan, former CIA director, says here, basically just talking a lot of shit to Trump, and then says the America you once knew will return. Another assassination message right there. And remember, when this missile incident was going on last month, Q was directing us to the fact that this missile came from a hacked submarine that was hacked. So this missile was sent off. There was also a photograph that Q posted over Lake Vostok, Alaska, of what looked like that missile getting blown up before it could reach Air Force One. Thank God. So all these dots are connecting to show us that on June 10th, last month, yes, in fact, there was a missile sent off as an assassination attempt against the president. We can see a couple of the messages thrown out there about from the deep state people, Brennan, Avenatti, about it. Thankfully, that was averted. So there's all of that. I want to go over this post, 1753, shifting topics a little bit here. It says foundation, bottom to top layers, FISA. FISA is the foundation and the start. And then it establishes the link between everybody. Think criminal illegal acts to prevent presidential election of POTUS. MSM covert link. How do you build a home? Foundation layers. Uranium 1, Iran, human trafficking, Haiti, corruption, yada, yada, yada. So basically what this post is outlining, and the reason I want to cover it real quick, is that FISA, the illegal wiretapping, the illegal surveillance of the Trump campaign during the election, it is the first thing that needs to be disclosed for many, many reasons. One reason is because it implicates basically everybody that we want to implicate in this cabal, from the Republicans, no name John McCain, to the Democrats, if we're going to fit into that Republican-Democrat bullshit duality there. It also implicates Clinton, Obama. It implicates people within the FBI, a lot of people there. And it's also the softest disclosure to come out in a way. You know, we want the human trafficking, the child sacrifice to get disclosed. Absolutely. We want the black budget programs and suppressed technologies and how much money has been taken from us through the DOD into these unacknowledged programs. We want all of that to get disclosed too, of course. But that's deep stuff. We got to start light. Got to start light for the mainstream, and that's what FISA offers. So logical thinking there. That's why it's going to start, and then quickly unravel through everything else. So quick note on that. Let's see here. Let's go up into this next post, 1761, bigger than you realize. They know the real traffic this is generating. And then Q links that Time Magazine article that came out a month ago again. It says the 25 most influential people on the internet, and then Time Magazine links Q. Of course, they call it a conspiracy and yada yada, but hey, more eyes on Q there. That's okay. You can discredit and lie as much as you want, but the truth always shines through. I love that quote. They say, you don't have to defend the truth. It's like a lion. Just put it out there. It can defend itself. And I believe that. So there you go. Stay the course, guys. Getting into some next posts, this 1762 here is in regards to the California fires. Now, I released a video yesterday morning, just a couple hours before this post on the California fires, which was a neat coincidence. I'm going to go ahead and link it whichever corner those things show up. I was talking about how California is very dry and very flammable, and it is so because of geoengineering. So it's super prone to wildfires right now because of the freaking deep state, because of these chemtrail programs. But basically, Q adds another element to it, and that is federal funding, which I didn't even really think of. But that's why we have these guys helping us all out, right? What happens when California is in serious debt and lost priority aid from the federal government due to sanctuary status? They light fires, all right? They can't get any federal funding because they won't budge with this immigration issue, so they just set themselves on fire. What does that do? They have to declare a state of emergency and request billions from the government. That's how they get their money. How did they light the fires? Well, like I was saying, California is just super flammable right now. They could have chucked a cigarette on the side of the road. Easy as that. Start a 1,000-acre brush fire there. Some people are speculating directed energy weapons. Last year, when we had the fires going through California, people were noticing how cars were melting, and there were straight line tracks in what was being burned, as if a scalar beam just went over this one particular region, right? I haven't seen quite as much evidence of that this year, but like I said, that fire could have been started in any way because California is so dry. Aluminum dust is caked on everything, making it super flammable. You know, it's just ripe for all kinds of fire devastation and corruption to happen right there. And then it looks like it's because of money, as Q is saying. Sick people. But hey, the more you know. And then Q in this next post says, those who are taught to trust the most, ... It's always those people in, quote, authority that we're taught to trust the most that are the worst liars. Understand that, guys. The doctors in the healthcare field that claim to be the health authorities, always the ones lying to us about cancer cures and vaccines and real health information, all that bullshit. Those that claim to have authority over us spiritually, the clergymen and the priests in the Vatican, right? the ones we are taught to trust the most with our spiritual learning. They totally fuck us. They disempower us with dogmatic beliefs, turn it all on its head, and then shit, what goes on in the Vatican? I don't even want to talk about that. And this can go on and on and on. The lawyers, the doctors, the public officials, whatever it is. Beware the false idols, guys. Beware the false idols. Q links 3 things here. Let's go through them. One of them says, it's taking a sec to load. Let's check out this one. After decades of silence, nuns talk about abuse by priests. News coming out of the Vatican City on July 27th. The other link right here says, Australian bishop convicted of sex abuse cover-up resigns. And this guy was one of the most prominent priests to have resigned over child sex abuse so far. So as Q was saying, those who were taught to trust the most into really weird shit. Beware the false idols. And then the last thing linked here is this justice.gov website about Project Safe Childhood here. And it has all the justice news about people being sentenced to prison for child exploitation, sex offender offenses, all stuff having to do with minors. So what is Q saying here? I have a couple thoughts on this particular link. Now, is Q saying all these child exploitation offenses are being investigated by Project Safe Childhood? Maybe. Or Q could be saying that this here is one of those authorities that we have been taught to trust that is actually subverting us, co-opting us. And Fox always guards the hen house, right? Remember Laura Silsby, the chick that was caught trafficking children out of Haiti? Clinton's directly intervened to get her free, and she then was placed into, I believe, an Amber Alert center to work. Crazy, right? So, who knows? I mean, Project Safe Childhood could totally be a smokescreen to, only investigate the lower level stuff and not investigate the high level political and religious and all of that connection with child sex abuse. So, I don't know, a couple thoughts on why that was linked, a couple potentials in my head, but dark to light. And then we have a few other posts here. Again, I'm not going to cover every single little thing. I don't have time to go through every single little detail in regards to Q. There's many other people out there that devote pretty much all their time to Q and go much deeper than I do. I'm just giving you my 2 cents here. And then, of course, I talk about a lot of other things as well. So back on to the topic of Michael Avenatti. This Anon right here gives a great summary. Who is supplying the feed? Feed is in the image, camera feed. Remember, the image is flipped. Why? It would appear Q guys are taking a picture of a bad actor, think mirror. What if the people in the vehicle are those working on Sunday at Avenatti's office? His bad actors are the ones supplying the feed. The images have been ripped or taken from the bad actor's phone. Interesting. Who supplies the feed? Saudi Arabia, Clinton Foundation, we have it all. Universal Access maybe, kills, because of course Q has it all. They can tap into anybody's camera, phone, whatever it is, at will. So if there were some images taken, right, from the bad actors, Michael Avenatti might be a little bit scared. Speaking of which, let's go back to his Twitter, because I want to cover something absolutely hilarious here, and that is the fact that, check it out, we are trying to identify the man in this picture, which was taken outside my office yesterday. Please contact Newport Beach PD if you have any details. Look at this. Literally, they took Q's posts and flipped it around. And look at all of these comments, all talking about Q. He's terrified. He's scared. That's why he's trying to identify the man in that photograph. Q saying they have it all. And now the last few things to cover right on schedule. Here we go. Q linking the latest mainstream media articles, trying to discredit them. I'm just going to click on these photographs to show you how many articles were put out over the last couple days from all sorts of outlets. The Daily Dot, The Guardian even, big time right there. Media Matters, of course, serving up a David Brock bullshit special. The Daily Beast, BuzzFeed, all of these outlets are putting out articles about what is QAnon. Oh my gosh, Michael Avenatti, targeted in person by QAnon, crazy pro-Trump conspiracy theorists, how YouTube bolstered another baseless conspiracy, yada, yada, yada. One of them I only want to cover because, of course, there's so many, you don't have the time to do so, but the one I want to cover is The Guardian right here. So, of course, it is The Guardian, very big deep state publication, propaganda publication. But look at this. They're talking about how all of these testimonies are surfacing, and one of them, in fact, outing Tom Hanks. So check this out. Sarah Ruth Ashcraft says Tom Hanks is a pedophile. Reads the title of a top video search for the actor's name. Tom Hanks, alleged sex slave, speaks out. Wow. Shout out to Sarah right there, making it in The Guardian. If you're not familiar with her and her testimony, go check it out. I'm going to link her Twitter down below. She's got some very intriguing things to say. And then The Guardian goes into their lies, discrediting disinformation about Q there. So there we go, guys. Spreading across all platforms. It's happening. Q is saying, feel proud, autists, anons, and patriots. You did this. We're taking back control. That's why it's hitting the fan like it is like that. Q asking, obvious MSM coordination? Obvious. Independent? No. Outlets like the Daily Beast claim to be independent. Not at all. POTUS coordinated attacks. Q coordinated attacks. Who and what else is under coordinated attack by the MSM? Like I just said, everybody sharing information, everybody sharing their testimonies, all this information coming to light. Everybody's being attacked. Who is a threat to the stat quo? What do they know? Why won't they ask the obvious question? All for a LARP? All for a conspiracy? Funny. Articles about Q. Why do they never ask the Anons why they are here? That's a basic question. They just go off and say, oh, they're a bunch of crazy people. Do they ever actually link the boards? Link QAnon.pub? Talk to people who research Q? No, they don't. We are very sane in the mind and very smart individuals. Not crazy conspiracy theorists at all. Q says you cannot fool a massive group of dedicated gold star researchers. Here's your gold star, everybody. Can't wait to get one. I hope we all get gold star plaques when this is all done. Everybody who's been doing this great work since the beginning, right? YouTube's never going to give me a plaque. Maybe some other people will. Anyway, at what point does it become mathematically impossible? This whole comm structure is designed for a very specific reason. It's so tactical. It's so strategic. It still blows my mind every single day. And it's going to blow my mind, I'm sure, for the rest of my life. Books will be written about this. Documentaries will be made about this. It's truly monumental. And that's all for this one, guys. That's the Q for the last few days. Towards the end of July, we're stepping into August now, which means we're going to get a new sealed indictment count. That team is going to go through July's, and we might get an updated number within the next few days. I'll let you guys know when we get that, and I'll keep you updated. Keep you updated from right here, Sather HQ. Done.